Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to Permission to Follow Your Inner GPS video podcast series. We have another amazing, beautiful soul. Her name is Angel Erica, and we've been friends on Facebook for a while now, and colleagues, and supporting each other. And the Inner GPS is all about your inner guided purpose soul path, and the intention of this video podcast series is to help you get in touch with that piece or those pieces where you are not yet following it, maybe more openly, more outrageously for some. And Angel Erica is going to be helping us, or helping you, to figure out how to do that by sharing her story and her journey. She is a psychic medium and an intuitive counselor, helping women connect their mind, body, and soul to happiness, or into happiness and success. So welcome, beautiful. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be here with you and sharing this space with you. You're an amazing inspiration to me, and I've followed you. So I'm glad to be here.
Well, thank you. It's always nice to be able to share space and to help each other. And hopefully, no, that's the wrong word, guys. It's like, okay, that my human self got in the way of there. We're going to share with you her journey, or she's going to share with you your journey. And there's no editing, guys, so we know that. This is here, it's raw, and it's in the moment. Beautiful lady, please tell us how you came to do what you're doing, who you are and what it is you do.
So like you said, I am a psychic medium and intuitive counselor, and my journey started about 3 years ago when my uncle passed away. He was my awakening. I've always been intuitive and very gifted my whole life, but like most of us, did not know what that was like or what that was. I could see spirit at a very young age, and it came very natural to me. I never really told my parents what I was experiencing because in my mind, I thought everybody experienced the same thing. So when my uncle passed away, I saw him in my bedroom. And in that moment, it became very real for me because now it was somebody that I cared dearly for. And to be able to see him on the other side, just it was mind-blowing for me. And I didn't know what this all meant in the moment. And so that's kind of how my journey started. I was experiencing a lot of things before that I couldn't explain to anybody what it was or what it was like. I astral traveled a lot in my dreams. And I did some crazy stuff that I could not explain to my husband. Why am I doing these things? And so I went to a medium circle, and that's kind of where my journey started to begin because all of these women in this room were experiencing the same thing. And the medium was telling me, kind of like the awakening process. So she was educating me on the things that I was experiencing. And I was working a 9-to-5 job and very miserable. I worked for a hospital doing the billing work and things like that. And I was very unhappy because I was not doing something that came to me naturally. And I was suppressing and hiding myself and who I was. And so my uncle's passing was my awakening. Unfortunately, his life was taken, but it revived my life, and I found meaning and purpose to myself.
So many intuitives have felt the need to hide for such a long time because what's going on in here is everybody feeling it, And if they aren't, why not? And who could you possibly talk to that wouldn't think you were crazy and want to cart you off somewhere and stick you in a padded room? You know? So good for you, and congratulations on figuring those things out and then doing something about it. So this isn't something that you planned on or thought about doing for a very long time, is it?
No, I suppressed it for a very long time. Um, Growing up, it was really hard because I could feel and sense people. I could feel their pain physically on my body. And so going to school every day was very challenging because I was not only trying to deal with my own emotions, but I was taking on other people's emotions. And how do you describe that? How do you describe that feeling to your parents? And so it was really difficult to be in that position for so many years and not be able to describe it or explain it to somebody. And so now this is what I do. I help and educate people on their spiritual awakening, their spiritual journey, because I know what it was like to be in that position and know that things are happening to you, for you, and divine is connecting with you. And to be able to suppress that is a very unhealthy feeling. And I suffered from anxiety. I suffered from depression. I experienced those things because it wasn't that it was me, it was that I was picking up everybody's emotions and I was taking them on. And I didn't know back then how to release them and just shake them off, right? And so now I have the tools to help me to feel better, to keep my energy in my space. And so to be able to teach and help other people understand that maybe it's not a health issue. For some of us it is, but for many of us it's not.
You're so right. And the health, and it not being a health issue, it can become one and cause dis-ease, not only in the physical body, but in our spiritual or our energy bodies. So when you figured this out and you were going to the mediumship circle with the women, you found a place that almost like, okay, I don't have to explain myself anymore. How cool is that, right?
Absolutely. It was like they were feeding me all the answers that I asked for my whole life. And it was just like, it was mind fathoming to experience that moment of breaking breaking open to something completely new, but understanding everything that I was experiencing. That night I couldn't sleep because it kind of was like it all was pouring down on me like, oh my God, this is what it is? Wow. How crazy, how spirit takes us to the right people in the right moment. And you don't know how that experience is going to change your life completely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And had I known when I first said okay to taking my first metaphysical class, I don't remember even I went for Reiki. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to do the Reiki. And that calendar year, they said, oh, she's got the door open. So it was 11 classes later. And it's like, holy smokes. And had I known that was what they were going to, push me, I'd have said, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that. So, it's like, yeah, no. When you fully realized after your awakening and being with the women in the mediumship circle, Angel Erica, what did you do, or how did you transition from the 9-to-5 job to doing this, what you're called to do full time?
So my life completely uplifted. I moved. I lived in Wisconsin my whole life. Born and raised there, and my family all lived there. But my husband's family lived in California. And every time we came to visit to California, there was something here that was calling me. And every time I came, it was like, you have to stay here. And I didn't understand why. And so one day I just decided, I told my husband, I said, we're moving. And he's like, and I'm like, we are moving. I can't be here anymore. I don't know why. We'll figure it out, but we are not staying here. We're moving. And so he lived here in California, and he moved to Wisconsin for 8 years. And so in his mind, he was like, this is my home now. And so I told him, I said, something about California is calling me to be there, and that's my home. And so I have 3 children. It was a very hard decision to make because it wasn't just about me, it was about my family as well. And so, the kids were on board, and we moved. It's going to be 3 years now. And I can say it was the best decision that I have ever made in my life, because not only did we find our happiness, we changed our life completely. And it's not even just about me, it's about my family as well, and teaching them their spiritual journey and their gifts, and opening up that awareness not only for my family, but all of the people that I have serviced and helped since I've moved here. And so it was almost like I had to completely disengage from my own family and start my own new family, which is my children and my husband. And to be able to disconnect from that, I finally found myself and who I was inside. And just that self-acceptance and that self-love, it has taken a long time to get to where I am now, but I would not change it at any point.
I hear you. And before anyone thinks that you're being totally selfish and moving your entire family on a whim just for you, I'm going to stick this in here for you, with you, because when a family, whether it is a husband and wife only or it's a husband and wife and children, it cannot be good for one and not for the whole, especially when you're truly following spirit. And this is not the, get the hair up the ear, okay? Fill in your own word, guys. Hair in your ear about, this is an ego. It's not an ego thing. And when you're following, when you're really tapped in, even if it's scarier than holy heck, when you're following it, it's like, okay, I have no idea what the next step is. I just know we have to do this. And they go, okay, and things start to fall into place. So good for you for having the courage to accept that that's what the guidance was, and then to tell your husband, and then to get your kids on board. It's like, okay, guys, we're packing up and we're moving.
Yeah, it was not something that that I could process at the moment, right? Mm-hmm. Because if I processed it, I would have self-sabotaged it. And I wouldn't be here today doing what I'm doing. And I've helped my family in a way where I broke a cycle. I broke a pattern. By disconnecting from them, they were able to awaken themselves as well. Because sometimes we're a crutch to our family, and we're holding them back from realizing themselves. And so I was always the peacemaker, the person that kept the family together. And so when I went away, they completely had to shift and deal what they needed to deal with. And, my parents have made so many changes that it's amazing to watch their transformation as well. And know that there is no age and no limit to your own awakening, right? That doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. Everybody has their own divine path, their own divine timing, and it's just about where you're at in your life and whether or not you're willing to accept that plan and that journey. that Spirit is putting in front of you.
Very well said. Very well said. You took you and your children and your husband, and I don't mean like took, but you all took that path, and you completely changed what's going to be passed down, even through your brothers and sisters and their children and so forth and so on, through the DNA and the inherited beliefs and all of that stuff.
Yeah, it's like I look back on it and it's mind blowing, and it's divine's way of shifting beliefs, shifting a community, shifting shifting everybody involved, because sometimes we think that it's just about us, and it's not. There's a trickle effect that always happens because of something drastic. And, you know, my family, even though they're close, there was a lot of negative patterns and things that I was not willing to share with my children anymore, and that I had to stand my ground and change so that my children could have a better experience than I had as a child. And so being able to do that, I was able to help my family shift in a way where they probably don't see it or understand it right now, but they will eventually, right? That this is what divine wanted for each and every one of us.
Absolutely. So before people think it was just like magic feathers or wands that they just waved over you and everything is hunky-dory, it is. But what was at least one challenge or obstacle that you got to work through? Maybe dig up some courage, or, you know, what would you be willing to share with our viewers to help them get, you know, it's not all roses. This is where you are now, but it wasn't always this easy. And I'm not trying to paint a picture that it was like fire and brimstone, but being on the spiritual path and following the guidance and spirit is not always that easy.
No, it's not. Absolutely not. I mean, me and my husband, ever since we met, you know, our relationship has been up and down, and it has taken a toll on each other. But through that storm, we have come and we have experienced a different life together. And for many, it would have been where they would just walk away, right? And he has supported me in a way where, you know, I'm grateful to have his support, have this person completely understand my journey and to support me into moving, to support me in completely changing our lives on a spiritual quest. And although he did not understand it, he is starting to understand it today, right? And so it wasn't his to understand in the moment. And it was very challenging because he didn't understand, right? Because it was about me. But it impacted my family in a way where now we're having to recreate patterns that me and my husband created for our children, right? And so it has been a challenge because sometimes they put up that wall and are like, no, what are you doing? You know, we don't have to follow what you're doing. And I understand that, right? Because each of our journey and our paths are different. And although they're a part of me, they're still discovering and finding themselves. So it was a great challenge for me, my husband, and our children, because even though I'm accelerating, they are not. They are all at their own level, right? And so, you know, we've completely changed our way of eating. I became vegan because Spirit kept telling me to become vegan, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I'll do organic, right? And then eventually I saw why I needed to become vegan. because as you accelerate your energy,
Mm-hmm.
you need those nourishing foods to match that energy. And
Yep.
so, I changed my diet. And so I'm incorporating that with the kids as well. And, at first they were resisting it, the organic, like, Mom, you're crazy. Why are you buying all organic food? And so little things like that, they're always an obstacle for each one of us, right? And spirit brings us things to overcome each time and each experience. And so it's the perception that you give it, right? It could be an obstacle or it can be a challenge. To me, life is about obstacles, because if you look at it as a challenge, you may or may not get stuck inside of it.
Very true. Very true. And you're absolutely spot on. As I started to work on myself many years ago, well, it's a continual process. We never really get done, unfortunately, right?
Yeah. Nope, it's ongoing. It never stops.
Ongoing. I found that my body would no longer tolerate certain foods. And one of my favorite things used to be, right around Thanksgiving, was eggnog. And I knew that it was not something that I could have. And then one year it's like, dang it, I'm going to have it anyway. Well, it put me out in a dizziness. I mean, so out of alignment vibrationally that I was on my back because the whole world was literally spinning for 2.5 days. And I still look at it once in a while when it comes out seasonally, but I do not touch it. It's like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it.
It's just a temptation, right? And
a little one.
Yeah, and Spirit puts those temptations to see how far we have come, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it shows us and it tells us, like, for me, I like coffee, but I can't have coffee. It irritates me. And
Mm-hmm.
so every time I think of having a glass of coffee, they remind me of that irritation even before I drink it. And so it's funny how when you're so aligned in that energy, how they show you physically on your body what that would be like if you chose to drink it.
It actually lowers your vibration and it clogs up the connection. Now, that doesn't mean, we're not trying to say you can't have coffee, you can't have red meat. Everybody's vibration and guidance is different. I haven't been allowed to totally cut out fish and chicken, but for most part, I am a vegetarian. I don't eat pork or red meat and haven't for I don't know how long, unless somebody slips it into something that I don't know about, Other than that, knowingly, I am a vegetarian. So, except for the fish and chicken, okay? I acknowledge that because if it were up to me a couple of years ago, I would have gone totally on a liquid protein diet, and they go,
no.
No, I said, dang it. So, what are you willing to share with our viewers about one thing that really helped move you forward, into the going, okay, I have to do this?
Mm-hmm. So it's funny, when I started my journey, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go with it. And I remember asking somebody about shamanism.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me, well, that's not for you. Okay. And I'm almost now completing my shamanism. Next month, I will finish the last direction. And I can tell you that I have discovered so many things that were so many obstacles or challenges for me in my own life that I did not understand, or I could not explain to myself how I felt. And I got the answers from that journey. I got the answers that I was always seeking. And so what I want to say with that is that no matter what somebody tells you, what they feel is your journey, it doesn't matter their perception. It does not matter what they think is right for you. Had I listened to that person, I wouldn't be in the path that I am right now, right? And discovering all of these stories and all of these things that have been holding me back from being the best version of myself. And so when somebody tells you that something is not for you and spirit is telling you something else, listen to that inner voice. Listen to that inner guidance, because nobody has that connection like you do. And never compare that connection with anybody else, because it's your own connection. It's your own antenna that nobody will ever understand or nobody ever will have like you. We're all unique in that way. And so if they can take away that part and really understanding what is my journey, what is my path, and what is divine telling me to do, that is the best medicine that you can ever have for yourself, because it's unexplainable. And when you are divinely connected and you're using your intuition and you are following that journey, divine will never fail you. They will never put you down a path that you can never handle, because they know what you are ready for.
Very true. And this is so important. You're that person that you asked, you trusted. And this isn't anything except that person, who is also a beautiful soul, was saying that to you because he or she didn't feel it was right for you, but that's their perspective. And it was coming from a fear or a resistance within themselves about their own path, whether they were going to follow it or not. So when someone tells you what your path is supposed to be, say thank you, turn around and walk away, and find someone who will help you discover what your path is. Not tell you, even if spirit does tell them what it is, because unless you discover it for yourself, you're going to wonder, well, is that really what I'm supposed to be doing? Would you agree with that?
Yes, because we get the answers inside of us. No matter if you go to a medium or a psychic or a card reader, they're going to tell you what they're seeing for you, right? What spirit is coming through to tell them. But ultimately, it's your decision. It's your choice. And when you're tapped into that intuition and that just inner knowing, you start to step into that and you start to discover who you are. So, that is why I started to go into more intuitive counseling versus the mediumship, because I felt like I wanted to help people and educate them more, not through their loved one, but what their soul is saying, right? What is deeply hurting inside of you that you need to discover about yourself. And so for me, that comes very naturally. Like when I look into somebody's eyes, I can see what their soul is going through. I can see the pain. I can see the challenge that they're facing or the obstacle that is holding them back. And that's what I do. I bring that to the surface. I bring it to the light of the person so that they can understand I do have these unique gifts as well. And I help transform people to see their own uniqueness and how it is inside of them. And that they don't have to keep searching for it on the outside, because they have that uniqueness and they just haven't tapped into it yet.
I love that. Helping others to help themselves. that is the greatest gift. And and we could talk about that, the gift part, for a long time. It's a whole other subject. But it is, and people misunderstand the word gift a lot of times just because it comes naturally. It comes naturally because, one, you decided to open up, you decided to accept, you decided to study, you decided to practice, and then you decided to do. So it's more than just, oh, Angel Erica has this gift, and she doesn't have to do anything for it. I practice every day.
Yes, and it's an ongoing, like you said, a healing process. I'm not done with my journey. I'm not done healing myself. And most of the holistic people out there, they don't continue their healing work, unfortunately.
True.
They think that they're done, and they're not. And um, that's why I'm very authentic with my audience, and I share my stories, I share my experiences so that they can understand where I'm at, and they can understand that my journey is just like your journey. I'm as human as you. And it's about giving each other permission at where you're at in life, and that nobody is here to judge you. Nobody is here to criticize you. But that criticism and that judgment lies inside of you. If you're constantly feeling that way, and you have to dig deeply inside of you to discover, where did that first start? Where can I let that part of me go and forgive myself? And so, I teach people how to forgive themselves, how to go in and find that inner child, how to discover that soul self, because a lot of us are very disconnected from our soul self. And once you discover and connect the two together, life starts to have meaning, life starts to have purpose. And you discover a part of you that has always been lost. And that deep connection that you can have within yourself, that you don't have to search for it on the outside anymore.
Very well said. I love the way that you have shared all of that with us. And we could go on for a while longer, I know. Thank you so much for being here. Is there one last thing that you're wanting to share or being guided to share with our viewers today, beautiful?
To really just take the time to sit in a place where you can listen to yourself, whether that's at a park, whether that's in your home, whether that is, meditating in your own way. There's so many ways to meditate and to really discover that inner voice that's inside of you. And, take that breath of life, and no matter how hard life can be, that breath of life reminds you how precious you are and how life can be that divine connection.
I love that. Please tell our viewers, Angel Erica, how they can find you.
So I am on Facebook. You can follow my website, angelerica.com, and all of the resources are there to my Facebook, my Instagram, all of the services that I do, and just get to know who I am. And if you're ready to start your own journey and your own path, I am here for you. And if not, there is somebody out there for you that's waiting to open that door for you, that opportunity. And it's just about self-discovery and finding that path and that journey for yourself. So it is out there, and you just have to open that door to that path.
Thank you. Again, beautiful souls, that is Angel Erica, Erica, angelerica.com. She is a beautiful light, and I have been privileged to see her light increase and her shine to come out more and more over the past few years. She is a beautiful soul, or she wouldn't be here. That sounds, but the truth is, she's an amazing light. And if you resonate with her, then seek her out. So thank you again for being here. And we have an ongoing or a growing community for Living Spirit and Wellness Global Directory for empaths. Take a peek over there. You can find it at angeldreamteam.com. It's for empaths, and most of the people on there are empaths. So who better to understand how to help you than another empath, whatever that is. Readers, healers, coaches, graphic designers, naturopathic practitioners, and see about getting your own listing. And we'd love to have you be a part of it too, Angel Erica. So thank you all, and we'll be back again very soon. Bye-bye for now, beautiful soul.
Thank you.